We'll begin with a simple tier list. I will work through each of the 10 property groups in Monopoly and rank them according to how useful they are in terms of winning the game. Without any further ado, let's begin. We'll start with the utilities and railroad, and then we'll go around the board from the cheapest Monopoly to the most expensive. Let's begin with the utilities. The utilities are straight trash, and I am banishing them to the F tier at once. The utilities are bad. They don't make very much money, and they're too expensive. Don't buy them. On to the railroads. The railroads are a very solid property group. I like that there are 4 of them, although that does make it quite hard to acquire them all. In addition, they top out at fairly low rent. Because of that, they're going to have to go in B tier.
Okay.
Still, they're solid properties, especially when compared with the utilities. The Browns! The Browns go in C tier. They're cheap, which is nice, and it's easy to build hotels on them. However, there's only 2 of them, and they can't make you all that much money. Still, I have a dream to win a game of Monopoly one day using only the Browns. Someday. The Light Blues. I like the Light Blues. They're cheap, and you can build hotels on them very quickly. However, they suffer from the same problem as the Browns. They're too cheap, and they don't make you enough money, especially in the late game, which is why the Light Blues will go in B tier.
Hey, that's mildly adequate.
The Pinks. They're not too expensive, they have high max rents, and their rent scaling is quite well done. The biggest problem with the Pinks is that if a player ends up in jail, there's a very low chance of them landing on the Pinks when they get out. And this can be rather significant, especially in the late game. Thus, the Pinks will go in A tier. The Oranges. I love this Monopoly. Good prices, good rent scale, and they get landed on a lot. If you want to win Monopoly, get the Oranges. Trust me. The Oranges go in S tier. The Reds. The Reds are pretty good. Yeah, the problem is they're a little expensive, which makes it hard to really build them out unless you have a lot of money. However, their rent scaling is good, and they get landed on quite a bit. Build 3 houses on each of the red properties, and you can call it a day. B tier. The Yellows. I have a weird relationship with the Yellows. I want them to be good. I wish they were good, but they're just not very good. They're too expensive to buy, and their rent scaling does not make up for the price difference between them and the Reds. In addition, the Yellows don't get landed on as often as the Reds do, which makes them, sadly, C tier. The Greens. As anyone who's played a good amount of Monopoly can tell you, the Greens are not good. They're too expensive, the houses cost too much, and the rent scaling is downright terrible, and they don't get landed on nearly enough to make up for these issues. Don't try to win with the Greens. It won't work. You'll lose. Your friends will laugh at you. Your family will laugh at you. And I will laugh at you. D tier. The Greens. Not even once. Last, but certainly not least, the Dark Blues. The Dark Blues are quite good. The fact that there's only 2 of them helps compensate for how expensive the Monopoly is, and the rent scaling is fantastic, particularly on Boardwalk. However, the fact that Park Place doesn't get landed on very often and doesn't have rent scaling comparable to Boardwalk keeps this Monopoly out of S tier. So therefore, they will end up in A tier. Wonderful. Now you know which properties are good and which utilities should be loaded into a cannon and shot into space. Until next time, don't buy the utilities. And this is the one and only David of David's Davids, signing off.